Hello, and welcome to A Greener Future's 2022 Annual General Meeting. I'm Rochelle Byrne, the founder and executive director of A Greener Future. Tonight, we're going to celebrate the wins that have taken place over the past year, as well as talk about some of the challenges we have experienced. Thank you for taking the time to be here. It's supporters like you that are the building blocks of what we do, and I hope by the time you leave this meeting, you feel confident that your support has made a considerable impact. Before we get started, I'd like to do a land acknowledgement. I'm currently calling in from Markham, Ontario. Today, we acknowledge the traditional territories of Indigenous peoples and their commitment to stewardship of the land. We acknowledge the communities in Circle, the north, west, south, and eastern directions, the Huron-Wendat, Anishinaabe, Seneca, Chippewa, and the current treaty holders, Mississaugas of the Credit Peoples. We share the responsibility with the caretakers of this land to ensure the dish is never empty and to restore relationships that are based on peace, friendship, and trust. You can now see the agenda for this evening on the screen. There are a few housekeeping notes I'd like to mention. This live stream will be available on YouTube after the meeting at the same URL. Please say hello in the chat. Let us know where you are. And if you have any questions or comments, type them in. We have our staff member, Nicole, monitoring the chat, and she'll answer any questions she can. Any she's unsure of, she'll pass on to me and I can answer them at the end of the meeting. While you're here, please also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Every ounce of support means so much to us. Our board members are the only voting members of our organization. So during the business portion of the meeting, you will see them voting when necessary. Nothing needs to be done on your part. Another thing I'd like to mention is that this meeting is a little late. Our year end is in November, and our financial statements were quite delayed last year. By the time we received them, we were already into our busy season. This means that the financial information you'll be hearing tonight reflects the 2020-2021 fiscal year. We will host the 2023 AGM in the first quarter of 2023, where you'll hear more recent financial information. So let's get into the business portion of the meeting. I'd like to introduce you to our current board members. Please say hello to Alyssa, our board chair, Kate, our treasurer, Sarah, our secretary, and Ariel and Sharon. Alyssa will be leading the business portion of the meeting. Alyssa, take it away.
Thanks, Rochelle. Hi, everyone. Good evening. First, we will assess if we have quorum for this meeting and test that our technology is working. Could I get all the board members to raise their hands for attendance? Thank you. We have reached quorum and can proceed with this meeting. Next, we will vote to accept the meeting agenda. Could I get a mover and a seconder? I have Ariel putting forward the motion, and could I have a seconder? Thank you, Sharon. I have a seconder. Okay, let's vote. Please raise your hand to accept the agenda. Thank you. This motion to accept the agenda passes unanimously. Next up is to adopt the minutes from our previous meeting. Our last meeting took place on October 12th. There were 4 board members present. We reviewed our financial position, our upcoming fundraising campaigns, and the possibility of setting up an advisory council in the new year. We voted in the new board members and discussed our spring and summer programming results. We also went over the plans for this AGM. Could I get a mover and a seconder to adopt the minutes from the last meeting? Thank you. And I have Kate as a seconder. Now we can vote to adopt the minutes. Could I have everyone in favor of adopting the minutes from the previous meeting raise your hand? Okay, thank you. This motion to adopt the minutes from the previous meeting passes unanimously. The next item on the agenda is to look at our annual financials. I'm going to pass this off to Kate, our treasurer.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm just going to give you some brief highlights into our financials from 2021. In 2021, we received $24,000 in donations, up from $5,400, which is 5 times as much. We also received 13,000 in grants. $113,000 in grants, up from 45,000. So that's 2.5 times as much as we received in 2020. And we also received just under $30,000 in pandemic subsidies. So we were able to increase our staff and our capacity due to that, which also increased our expenses accordingly. There was a lot of uncertainty for nonprofits and businesses with the pandemic, and I think that we thrived despite that. So I'm very proud of where we've come. So when we're looking towards the future, we have a few goals in mind for our financials. The first is to foster our donor and funder relationships, making sure that we're keeping in touch and keeping our donors up to date with our progress and our impact. And the second thing is to, because the majority of our funds are grants, which tend to be restricted funds, dependent on different programs. So it doesn't leave us a lot of room for paying for our overhead costs. So we're looking to increase our monthly donors and unrestricted funds so that we can have some stability for cash flow and that. And then the next slide. So with that, we're also looking, we're also looking to create a reserve fund so that we have some money that's set aside for when we're in between granting schedules and when we're waiting for funds to come in. And lastly, to diversify our funding. So we've already done a lot of that this year, and last year we did the sweater fundraiser. We had our documentary sales for Shoreline. We also started doing corporate cleanups, and we've done a lot of those this year, and we'll be doing many more of those next year. So those are the goals that we're looking for 2022 and 2023, and I think we're already on track for that. So I'll pass it back to Alyssa to accept the financials.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks, Kate. Could I get a mover and a seconder to accept the financial report? I have Sharon as the mover and we have Ariel as the seconder. Thank you. Now we can vote to accept the financial report. Could I have everyone in favor of accepting the financial report raise their hands? All in favor. Thank you. The motion to accept the final financial report passes unanimously. Now we're going to move on to the impact report presented by Rochelle.
Thank you, Alyssa. So 2021 was an exciting year for us. We found our groove when it came to managing our operations during a pandemic. Our volunteer numbers have grown exponentially, which means we're able to pick up way more litter. When I first started A Greener Future, my goal was to pick up 1 million pieces of litter. It took 4 years to reach that goal. In 2021 alone, volunteers assisted in picking up 1.5 million pieces of litter. Isn't that amazing? In the chart on the screen, you can see both the number of pieces of litter collected each year and the number of volunteers who took part in our programs. You can also see the huge jump in the amount of litter we picked up between 2020, when we had to cancel all of our in-person events, and 2021, when we figured out how to run our programs virtually. In 2022, we haven't quite picked up as much litter, but the year isn't over yet. Want to help us get there? We still have a few months left to make it happen. So if you connect with us, we can show you how to collect litter and submit that data if you want to help out. So how did we pick up so much litter? Our programs are growing. One of our original programs, the Butt Blitz, is a huge contributor to our overall impact. This makes me so happy because cigarette butts are toxic, loaded with microplastic fibers, and do not belong in the environment. You can see on the chart that our spring events are a little bit more impactful than our fall events. The spring is the perfect time to get out there and pick up cigarette litter because all the butts that have accumulated in the snowbanks over the winter are starting to become visible. We've been aiming to pick up 1 million butts throughout the month of April for the last couple years, but we haven't quite made it yet. I think 2023 is going to be our year. Since it's a bit more challenging to get participants to participate in the fall, it's just a busy time of year, we've decided to go another direction, and you'll learn more about that change in the next AGM in 2023. So our Love Your Lakes program started in 2016 and continues to grow with the exception of 2020 when we had to cancel all events. In 2021, we transformed the program and it was completely virtual. We had 85 dedicated volunteers who picked up litter multiple times over the month of July. In 2022, we were fortunate to be able to get back out in person, and that was very exciting for us. And lastly, we've been taking part in the Great Global Nurdle Hunt, which is hosted by Phaedra, a charity in the UK. Nurdles are plastic pellets that are used in manufacturing. Unfortunately, a bunch of them end up in the environment before they've even had a chance to be turned into something useful. For a long time, I wasn't aware that nurdles were a problem in the Great Lakes, but it turns out that they are. We hosted our first nurdle hunts in 2021, picking up over 10,000 nurdles, which was great for a first attempt because we really didn't know where we should be looking for them. We just wrapped up our 2022 events, and as you can see from the numbers, we now know where some nurdle hotspots are. The data collected at our nurdle hunts is sent to Phaedra as they're trying to move forward regulations that will hold plastic manufacturers responsible for pellet loss and recovery. It feels really good to be using the data we collect for purposes that are beyond our capacity as an organization. We did add a few more fun projects to our to-do list in 2021. We hosted our first stand-up paddleboard cleanup in partnership with the Lake Surfistas. We had volunteers come out and clean up along the Humber River. It was so much fun that we decided to do it again in 2022. We also had some artists create art out of the litter being found on the shores of Lake Ontario. There were some very thoughtful and beautiful creations made. You can see this art displayed in our virtual gallery on our website. And lastly, we did a few virtual and in-person screenings of our film Shoreline, The Paddle Against Plastic. This is the film we made while we were all cooped up during the start of the pandemic. It follows my journey stand-up paddleboarding 430 kilometers across Lake Ontario to raise awareness about plastic pollution and sharing my discoveries along the way. If you haven't watched it yet, you can find it on our website for free. Nicole will put the link in the chat. If you would like more detailed information about any of our programs, please check our annual reports. They're also available on our website. We absolutely could not do all of this work without our amazing staff. A huge thank you to each and every one of you that helped make our programming happen over the past couple of years. The tasks completed by these amazing people cover everything from volunteer management, communications, event planning and hosting, data collection and analysis, web design, SEO, and daily operations. There is a lot going on behind the scenes at A Greener Future, and we are so proud that our team has the skills and passion to push the limits and make every year better than the last. You have all helped grow A Greener Future to what it is today. Thank you. Now we can move on to the board member elections. Back to you, Alyssa.
Thanks, Rochelle. So in September, we posted an open call for applications to join our board. We received a number of qualified applicants, interviewed several of them, and chose 2 who we felt would be the best fit for our organization. We will be onboarding additional board members in the new year, so watch for our posting as we get closer to the end of the year, if you're interested in applying. The 2 candidates that I'd like to introduce you to today are Fariel Durrett and Peter Sos. Fariel has years of leadership experience in sales, business development, and event planning. She is a current MBA candidate at Rotman University of Toronto and has been a longtime volunteer with A Greener Future. Peter brings over a decade of experience in finance, sustainability, and consulting, and holds an MBA from Schulich School of Business. He has held leadership positions for other large nonprofit organizations, including Sea Shepherd Global, and brings a passion for environmental and social justice. Now, could I get a mover and a seconder to push forward a motion to approve the new board members? I see Sarah put her hand up. Sarah putting forward the motion and Ariel as a seconder. Thank you. Now, can we vote to approve the new board members? Could I have everyone in favor of accepting the new board members raise their hand? Thank you. This motion to accept the new board members passes unanimously. Congratulations and welcome to the newest additions to our board of directors. There are a couple of us leaving the board, so I'm now going to pass it back to Rochelle.
Thank you, Alyssa, and welcome again to our new board members. We're so excited to have you join us. So yes, there are a couple of board members who are retiring from the board, and I have the pleasure and honor of thanking them for their service. The first one is Alyssa, our current board chair. Alyssa has been with us since 2020 when our paths crossed through the Green Living Show in Toronto that was canceled due to the pandemic. Alyssa has brought passion, knowledge, experience, and a high level of professionalism to the board. She has always been quick to respond when I need someone to bounce ideas off, and has been very encouraging when it comes to scaling our organization in a sustainable way. What I love most about Alyssa is that she believes deeply in the work that A Greener Future is doing. She recognizes the impact we're making on the environment and people and sees the trajectory we're on. She's a believer, a cheerleader, and an advocate for our cause. Alyssa recently took a job in sunny California, and the distance has made it challenging to continue on the board at this time. However, if she comes back, we'd be happy to scoop her back up again. Thank you, Alyssa, for being such a wonderful board member and friend. We'll miss you and look forward to visits when you're in Canada. We're also saying farewell to Ariel. Ariel has been with us since the very beginning. She's completed 3 full terms as a board member. That's 6 years, which is the maximum amount of time allowed to serve on our board. She's been to 23 board meetings, has come on 5 camping trips, and she's helped set up booths at many farmers markets and environmental fairs. She's traveled from Niagara-on-the-Lake to Kingston and as far north as Barrie to help with cleanups. If I were to guess how many cleanups she's attended, I'd say it's over 200. Whether the temperature was over 35 degrees Celsius or hailing, she always has a smile on her face. Her fun sense of humor brought lots of laughs to our adventures, especially when we found unexpected items during our cleanups, like bondage gear, toilet seats, or a burned up computer that we imagined was burnt evidence. We were together the first time we found a bunch of tampon applicators on the beach and wondered how they could possibly be there. Her passion led her to starting a petition against Tampax to eliminate plastic tampon applicators, which now has almost 150,000 signatures. She's had her past employers get involved with A Greener Future, as well as many of her friends. She's fundraised, donated, and supported A Greener Future in every way that she possibly could. She's cheered me and the Greener Future team on every step of the way. A Greener Future wouldn't be what it is today without your love, support, and encouragement, Ariel. We will miss you dearly as a board member, but I know you will always be around to help when you can, because you're also my sister and that term never expires. Here's a quick photo montage to show some of the adventures we've had over the years. Thanks again, Ariel, for your service. It means a lot for you to put in so much time and effort to our cause. So next on the agenda, we are presenting 2 awards this evening, one to Volunteer of the Year and one to our Employee of the Year. I'm very excited to present these as it's the first time we've publicly given out awards, and both are very well deserved by the recipients. First up, Volunteer of the Year. I am proud to present the Volunteer of the Year Award to Karen Henderson. Karen has been a very valuable part of our team, taking part in every single program we run. In the past year, she has put in well over 200 hours of volunteer time. She started the year participating in our Butt Blitz program and picked up an astounding 33,726 cigarette butts off the ground throughout the month of April. During the spring and summer months, she participated in our Love Your Lakes program, coming to 12 of our public cleanups and doing 20 cleanups on her own. She's picked up, sorted, and collected data on thousands of pieces of litter, over 60,000 pieces, according to our records. Most recently, she took part in our Nurdle Hunt campaign, taking part in 7 Nurdle hunts over the past month. All of our programs this year have been very successful, and there's no doubt that Karen was a big part of that. Karen, thank you so much for all you do for a greener future. You are helping us achieve our mission. And now here is a quick video from Karen.
My name is Karen Henderson, and I have been a volunteer with A Greener Future for over 2 years now. I have participated in the Love Your Lakes and the Butt Blitz programs and done several cleanups on my own. When I'm out there cleaning, I'm really surprised with the amount of litter that's out there. Participating in cleanups gives me a sense of accomplishment that I'm doing my part for the community to help keep the lake shores clean.
Thanks again, Karen, and congratulations for being awarded Volunteer of the Year. Our second award of the evening goes to our Employee of the Year. Please congratulate Nicole in the chat. Nicole has been working for A Greener Future since May 2021, and prior to that, she was a volunteer. Nicole has a real knack for organization. She is great at planning and hosting events. She works hard to ensure a great volunteer experience, and she has picked up and collected an obscene amount of litter. She is also very dedicated to our cause. She can't even go on vacation without picking up litter on her travels. I am so grateful to have Nicole on our team. I always feel confident that our volunteers are in good hands when she's leading the way. We're now coming to the end of our meeting, and I want you to know that we're already in planning mode for 2023. We're ready to make it our most impactful year yet. We know how to do it, but we really need some help making our plans a reality. We must scale our work as we face the growing challenges of plastic pollution in our environment. To achieve our mission, we need more stability in our funding. And one of the most sure ways to reach financial stability is to have a consistent base of monthly donors so we know exactly what we have coming in every month. This gives us the flexibility and assurance we need to continuously improve our programming. At the moment, we have 11 monthly donors. Our gratitude to each and every one of you. Each one of these donors are contributing at an amount per month that works for them, and they can feel confident that they are contributing to environmental preservation every month of the year. I would like to ask you if you would consider digging deep and joining our monthly donor community. Join us in our work so we can grow our impact in a time when it is so dire. One-time donations are also welcome if monthly giving just isn't for you. Nicole has shared the link to our donation form in the chat. Thank you so much for attending. I hope that you learned a few things about A Greener Future. You can see the progress that we're making. I'm just going to check my Slack to see if Nicole sent me any questions. If you do have a question, please put it in the chat and we can get there. I think we're good though. So I think if you have any questions that do come up, feel free to send us an email or connect with us on social media. However you feel comfortable in connecting with us, we're kind of everywhere at this point. So please come chat with us, and hopefully we will see you at our public events in the new year as well. So thank you so much for attending, and we'll see you all soon.